In this video, we're going to look at describing a distribution as well as comparing two distributions. So here we have two dot plots. Dot plot A is the result of rolling a die, actually two dice, 100 times, finding their sum and then plotting a point. And dot plot B is the scores on a test, each student getting their own dot. So when we describe the distribution, you need to describe four things: the shape, the unusual features like outliers or gaps, the center, and the variability. So for graph A, with the sum of rolling two dice, when you describe the shape, you're going to describe whether it is symmetric or skewed. And I would say graph A is mostly symmetric or fairly symmetric. And if I were to make a smooth curve here, the tail sort of goes to the left, so it is slightly skewed left. There don't appear to be any outliers or gaps. So an outlier would be a point, like if there's a point way over here by itself, or a gap would be like if there are like no points missing in there somewhere. There's just an empty space. Those would be outliers or gaps. So we'll say none for this one. The center is where most of the data sort of piles up. And we will get more exact vocabulary and calculations for these later. But for now, that's at approximately 7. So it'd be a sum of 7. And the variability, that is how spread out the data is. So we'll say that these values range from a sum of 2 to a sum of 12. And now we'll do the same thing with graph B. And for that one, the shape is still fairly symmetric. And it is also, if I were to put a curve here, the tail also is longer on the left, so it's also slightly skewed left. There don't seem to be any outliers or gaps again. The center, it looks like most of the data is somewhere around a 90%. Is their score on their test. And variability, the scores range from 70% to a 100%.